AITA for calling the police on a 2-year-old child running around my neighborhood unsupervised. A little kid, maybe 2 years old, was outside playing with my boys in our suburban neighborhood. He was so young he couldn't even talk yet. If I had to guess, he'd probably only been walking for about 8 months. He was out there with his cousin or sister. She wasn't sure how they were related when I asked if he was her brother. She was only 7. I had no idea who these kids were. I'd seen the girl around before, but I didn't know her name or where she lived. So I called the non-emergency number and told them, "Hey, there's a 2-year-old boy out here without an adult, just his 7-year-old sister. What do you want me to do?" The dispatcher told me to keep them there and that they'd send an officer. She also asked me to stay on the phone until the officer arrived. While we were waiting, the kids tried to leave. I let the dispatcher know, and she asked me to keep them there so the officer could talk to their parents. So I asked the kids to stay, and thankfully, they did. When the officer finally showed up, my neighbor came outside immediately and started yelling at me. "Why did you call the police? This isn't a police matter," she shouted. Mind you, this wasn't her child. I knew that for a fact because, until that night, I had a good rapport with her. I told her, "Ma'am, this boy can't even talk yet, he's so young." But she just kept screaming at me, saying I should have taken him into my house to keep him safe. I told her, "I'm not taking a random 2-year-old into my home without the parents knowing. I'm a 32-year-old man, by the way." But she wouldn't let it go. "We take care of the kids in our neighborhood," she yelled. "If it were your kids, I'd do the same. What if you were miles away and found out someone called the police on your kids? Except that's not true, because my kids hate that I only let them outside when I'm out there with them." Then she accused me of treating this situation like he's neglected. She told the officer she'd handle it and started walking the boy home. I was dumbfounded. Embarrassed. Like, what the hell was I supposed to do? Just let a 2-year-old run around the neighborhood alone? Cars speed down our street like it's a damn drag strip. This kid couldn't even form words. And the officer? He just let my neighbor take the boy without even checking in with the parents. Meanwhile, the whole neighborhood came outside to see what was happening because this lady was screaming at me. So AITA? What would you have done? Comment below. And please hit all the buttons.